Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and I got asked the question by Tomcat in Discord about what does it take to be a successful free-to-play in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And he's like, Phil, I know that you just bought this pack, but you were free to play for so long, what advice would you give people to be as successful as you were? So we're going to get into this, guys. We're going to talk about what it takes to be a successful free-to-play from my perspective, but we first and foremost need to thank my channel members so much for their continued support. Here they are. If you're interested, there's a link down below. Otherwise, guys, hit that thumbs up button to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. So, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what does success look like in Galaxy of Heroes? Before you even get to like these key factors, what does success look like? Is it just having fun? Is it being competitive but having fun? Or is it just being competitive? For someone like myself, I'm a competitive guy. I'd rather compete. I want to be competing, and that's where my fun comes from. I'm not going to have fun every single day I'm coming into Galaxy of Heroes and doing something, but I'm going to have fun in the moments that I'm competing. So that's just, I'm going to preface with that for me, success is defined by you being competitive and winning in Galaxy of Heroes. That fun kind of comes from that winning, right? That as Julian Edelman said on the New Heights podcast, like, winning is fun. So that's the way I look at it. I know not everybody's that way, but it all depends on how you define success, and we're going to be using this guide as a definition of success is winning. So there's 5 key attributes to free-to-play success that I've identified to make you as competitive as possible. So the first thing is dedication. Now, I'm going to give a little anecdote story. I don't know what it's called. I'm not an English major. Somebody correct me. But when I was in college, right, every season for track and field and cross country at the beginning, we would have a meeting as a team where the captains would kind of set goals, and they would take, you'd raise your hand and kind of say, oh, we should have this as a goal, and, they'd write it up on the board. And I was so excited my freshman year. I was like, man, this is so cool. And then the first thing that somebody says is we should be at practice on time every day. And I remember just looking at this person in disgust. And then somebody else raised their hand before I can go, and they're like, stay hydrated. And I'm even more upset. And then somebody else is like, we should be in the weight room. And I'm ready to burst at the seams. Because those are all things I expect, right? That's dedication, your dedication to meeting the expectations. So I use that example as from a free-to-play perspective in Galaxy of Heroes, that I shouldn't have to tell you that your goal should be to log in every day. That's an expectation if you want to be successful. I shouldn't have to tell you to participate in GAC, territory battles, territory wars, raids, whatever, right? That's an expectation of success. That if you want to be the best player possible, you need to be dedicated to coming into Galaxy of Heroes and doing all those things. That's an expectation. That's not a goal. And this was a conversation then that in college, just to finish off that story, that my coach had to have with our team that, no, guys, I expect those things from you. You cannot just say that a goal is to show up to practice. A goal is to win. A goal is to run the fastest time. A goal is to, make it to this meet or that meet. It's not that you're, going into the weight room. I expect you to be doing that to reach your goals. So, this dedication to meeting your expectations in Galaxy of Heroes is important. That is the first step, right? That dedication that you're going to do something and you're going to do it, right? Dedication is the first key to free-to-play success in Galaxy of Heroes. The second one here is discipline. The difference between dedication and discipline in this example, because some of you will say, oh, it's the same thing. Dedication is, hey, you're logging on every day, right? You're meeting your expectations. But now it's, okay, are you doing the right things? Are you coming in here and you're farming every day, right? You're logging in, but are you farming the right stuff? Are you just kind of doing things at random? Oh, I'm going to farm Zori today. I'm going to farm Finn tomorrow. Oh, you know what? Now I'm going to farm, for Jedi Master Luke. Oh, you know what? I'm going to switch gears into Kylo. You're lacking discipline. You're coming on every day. You're doing the right. You're doing the bare minimum, but you're not disciplined in it. It'd be the example I would use is if you're a soccer player and you go into practice every day and you just practice taking free kicks. That's all you do is practice free kicks. You're dedicated, right? You're dedicated. You're going in every day, but you're not disciplined. You're doing one thing. You're not building the entire to be the best soccer player ever. You're gonna be a great free kick taker, but you might not even be able to, receive a pass or, pass the ball because you're so focused on one thing. So it takes discipline to the entire body of work for Galaxy of Heroes, that you want to go in and make sure that you're farming the right things and working towards that goal. An example I want to use here is Legolas. Shout out for you in the Discord. He has an account, I call it the stupid account, and I mean that with all due respect, where he stayed dedicated to, he farmed Inquisitors, and then he farmed for Lord Vader. He did all these things, and he stayed disciplined to it. Was it maybe the best thing for his account to be doing at the stage that it was? Maybe not. Maybe it was, maybe not. I don't know, right? But, you know, he was disciplined, and because he was disciplined and because he was dedicated, he's going to experience success because of that. So, you know, your dedication to meeting your expectations is you're logging on every day. You're doing all those little things. And then the discipline coming into play that, yes, you're doing it and you're doing the right things, that you're going through and doing everything. You're not ignoring ships. You're not ignoring a galactic legend because you don't like their character in Star Wars. You guys know who I'm talking about. You know, you have to be disciplined in that you've got to stay, you know what? My discipline is that I want to be competitive and this is what I need to do. Right? So dedication leads into discipline. And the discipline leads into resourcefulness. So resourcefulness kind of doesn't really apply to athletics so much, right? Because it's like, well, like, how are you resourceful? Like, you're just kind of doing stuff, right? But in Star Wars, this is saying that you need to acquire every little bit of resources possible out of this game, right? That you need to scavenge everything. Scavenger, right? Get it? You know, and Lord Vader lacked discipline. You know, that you want to squeeze every little resource out of this game possible that they will give you. An example I'm going to show you guys, if we go into the game right now, and let's go into the daily, you know, these galactic challenges that they have, right? So I hit max crate here. Now I'm at the stage where max crate is something that I should be doing. But like resourcefulness is saying, I'm going to try my hardest to get as far as I can in these rewards. Maybe I fall short and only hit box 7. But if you have a smaller account and you hit box 7, that's a good thing, right? Like, good job. You know, or you hit box 8, 9, 10, whatever it is that's your max level. That's resourcefulness. You're squeezing every little bit of resource out of this game because you need it. As a free-to-play, you cannot afford to miss out on some of these little rewards, right? You think if you fall short of getting the Kyrotex every single galactic challenge, think you get 2 galactic challenges a week, right? There's 52 weeks in a year. That's 104 galactic challenges over the course of a year. Right? Let that sink in. 104 galactic challenges over the course of a year. That's 520 total Kyrotex in a year that are inside galactic challenges. If you don't, you know, if you miss out on those, it's huge. You might not think that losing 5 is a lot, but if you get in that habit and don't continually hit there, you're leaving so many things on the table that over a course of a, you know, period of time make a big difference. So you've got to be smart. Right? You've got to be resourceful. You've got to try and get every little bit out of it because it all adds up over time, right? As you guys are seeing, like something else that's adding up, right? That all of those things that I mentioned, dedication, discipline, and now resourcefulness, they all come together as one, right? That they're all building into the same thing. So we're going to continue here. So you're resourceful, right? You're getting all these resources, but you've got to be frugal, right? You've got to have frugality. And frugality means you're doing more with less, right? That you're trying to, you know, you're not cheap, but you're smart with your resources. That I knew I was going to be unlocking Riva. So I made sure that I saved my Kyrotex. I made sure I saved Zetas and Omicrons and all these things, knowing that I was going to be unlocking her. That I wasn't caught up in the moment of saying, yeah, you know what? I could relic my Chief Chirpa and Wicket. Like, those don't help me. Riva does right now. So being smart with your resources. And it helped put me in a position, like I'm in a great example to share this, where I got that resistance pack and I was able to already unlock Rey. You think in a period of time I was able to invest all those resources because I was frugal enough with them to recognize that I wanted them to go on other characters. That I didn't want to get to a place when I was going for Leia where I was ready to, I have all the characters 7 stars, but I don't have any resources because I've spent them all on other things. That's not what as a free-to-play, you need to be able to do more with less. You have to be smart with your resources. You can't afford to waste anything because when you do, it has far-reaching consequences. A great example I want to make here is just from a story I heard when I was listening to Cubs fan Han one time. And he was polling the community and asking about how much money they spent and if they would continue to spend. And there was a guy who had spent about $100,000 on Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes at the time. And this was, you know, years ago, right? And he said, one, he had the disposable income to do it. So understand that. So for some guys, that's just what they can do. For some players, right, that's a reality. He's like, I spent over $100,000 on this game, and I view it as something that I don't need to log in and climb an arena every day. right? I can lose Grand Arenas at times. I don't have to do these galactic challenges, that I don't need to squeeze every little resource out of this game because I'm willing to spend that money, right? And he was kind of saying that, like, you know, these guys who are free to play, yeah, but you're investing all this time. And he was very true. It's a very real thing that if you're willing to spend that money, there's less that you need to worry about in the game as much because you're going to supplement it with something else. Now, obviously, to be the best, you're going to need to do a combination of all of those things, right? You're going to need to spend a lot of money, spend a lot of time in the game. But as a free-to-play, you know, you don't have that luxury, so you do want to try and squeeze all the resources you can out of here, but also be frugal with them, that you can't pretend that you've got this unending supply of resources, that what you have is limited and it will go quickly if you aren't careful with it. So you've got to be frugal. You see how all of these things are kind of compounding on each other, that, you know, it takes dedication to be, you know, resourceful, right? And it takes discipline to be frugal. You see how all of these attributes are kind of combining together into one, that you can't be frugal if you aren't dedicated and disciplined and resourceful, right? You need all of that together, right? You need this combination of all of these things together to be a great player in Galaxy of Heroes. The last one we're going to bring up is you've got to think big picture. We always talk about how this game is a, you know, marathon, not a sprint, but I don't even think that's a good example anymore. I don't think that really paints the picture. What I'm going to use instead is think of this like a sports team, right? Or do you want immediate success, that you're going to go do what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did? You're going to wail out, have immediate success, and then it's going to crumble down upon you because you didn't build a foundation. You just brought in a bunch of all-stars. They were able to win for a season, and then it fell apart after that. The Los Angeles Rams, you know, NFL did the same thing, right? Went for immediate success, and now are kind of falling apart. You know, are you looking to do something like that? Or are you looking to be someone like, you know, the Patriots, who built this foundation, right? Who they would bring in all-stars here and there, but they had this core foundation of players that were able to build them, right? That there were years where they weren't that great, but they continued to build on that success, knowing that their end goal was here, that they wanted prolonged success rather than a single win. Think of the Denver Broncos when they brought in Peyton Manning. They had great success during that time that he was there, and as soon as he left, they've been a poverty franchise since, right? Think of Chelsea, right? Chelsea's a great example of this over for those of you in the Premier League. Chelsea was all about winning now. And they're paying for it. They have no foundation at the club. I'm a Chelsea fan. You guys know that. We have no foundation at the club because we went to win now, and it's bit us in the butt. And as a free-to-play, you need to think of that big picture, that going for something that's meta now and that's it will hurt you. But if you plan for that long-term success, you're going to be so much better off in this game. Think of that whole big picture, right? Think like Thrawn. You know, a good one here to think of. I could relic 8, you know, Galactic Light. I could relic 8 Rey right now, right? I could take her to relic 8. But I want you guys to think big picture. In 6 months' time, would I regret this relic 8? I don't know. And that's kind of the final thing I want to leave you guys with, right? Getting very preachy, teachy in here, but, you know, it's just the way it is when you're doing a video like this where you're trying to, you know, if you're asking for advice like this, expect that this is what you're going to get. Murphy's Law. For those of you who don't know what Murphy's Law is, we always talk about Murphy's Law, and, you know, it's a physics concept, and the way that most people colloquially know it is that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. But in reality, Murphy's Law is anything that can happen will happen. So, you know, you think of these packs, right? These packs that they came out with are a great example of Murphy's Law. Anything that can happen will happen. That they're selling a Galactic Legend for $10, that would not have ever happened, right? But it did. Because I was frugal and I thought big picture, that I don't want to just be investing resources because I have them now. I want to make sure I have them for the future, right? That I have something to build from in case it's needed somewhere else. I was able to unlock Rey in that short period of time because I was thinking big picture, that I need these resources for Leia. I want to make sure that if something happens, I always have a safety stock. It's something I do with everything in this game. I always try to have a safety stock because I recognize that there's things that are constantly changing, and you want to be able to at least react at some point to it. So hopefully all of these 5 things, as you see, build on each other, right? That dedication, that you're getting in there and you're doing your expectations every single day, right? Remember those expectations versus goals. An expectation is you're logging in every day. A goal is getting box 7 in Conquest or whatever, right? That's a goal. An expectation, you're at least doing Conquest, right? Then it takes the discipline that you're doing it the right way, that you're going about and farming the right things, that you're not just farming one little thing because that's what you like to do, that you're farming everything, that you're building an entire roster. There's a really good guy I used to play with, little story here, that he only farmed dark side characters. And it was great. He was dedicated and he was disciplined to only farming light side, but he definitely lacked because he didn't have any light side characters, right? He had no light side characters. Be resourceful, right? Make sure that you're squeezing everything out of this game. They want to squeeze you for all the money that you have. You want to squeeze them for all the free things that they're willing to give you and throw it right back in their face, right? And then be frugal with those resources. Don't squeeze them for everything they're worth and then pump it into stuff that's not really going to help you that much. Make sure that you're thinking, okay, I want to save these things for something big, right? That I want to be using these things in a smart way. I don't just want to go and, relegate Dark Trooper because it looks cool. Will that help me in the big picture of things? So hopefully this guide sort of, I don't know, it's probably some tough truths in there, but I think it's good stuff. I think this is how I've been able to be as successful as I am, is that I've kind of taken all these things and compiled it into one. There's not a secret oh, you have to farm this thing. We all have our own different farming guides. But I showed with Legolas, right? That example of he was building Inquisitors and then Lord Vader, that, maybe that wasn't the best farming path. But because he had all of these other pieces along with it, he's going to be successful. Because he's taking what he's given and he's dedicated, disciplined, resourceful, frugal, and finally he thought big picture of what do I need. So that's the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. Hit that subscribe button. Leave your likes. Leave your comments. We want to hit 10,000 subscribers for our king. So if you're still watching, make sure you go ahead, womp into the comments there and put in Wampa is king. I love all you. May the force be with you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.